I'm Paul Kozlowski, and welcome to The Crawl. Sorry I haven't been around in a while, but I've been doing lots of non-beer related things, which is never fun. Fortunately, Joe and Sky were able to visit Kelly and I last month, and we went over to Asheville, North Carolina, and we got to see a lot of cool breweries, such as New Belgium. And one of the things that he referenced was the carbon-neutral beer Fat Tire. Fat Tire has been around for decades, but now they've changed their formula to make it a carbon-neutral beer. So let's talk about it. What makes it carbon-neutral? Why can't all beers carbon-neutral? So carbon neutrality, just to sum up, is that grain technically takes CO2 out of the air in order for it to grow. Now, if you take more CO2 making the grain than you do producing the beer, then it's carbon negative. To get it carbon neutral, that means that the amount of CO2 you take to produce it, transport it, and all that is equal to the amount that you've taken out of the atmosphere by growing it. So, what makes Fat Tire a carbon neutral beer? What do they do? So, let's open it up and we'll see a couple of clues. So as you see, it's a lot lighter than it was before, right? If you remember the old Fat Tires, it was an amber color, but this is more of a golden color. And that is not because they didn't like the amber taste or the amber color, it's because they needed to make it carbon neutral. You would think that these bubbles that are literally emitting CO2 in the air would be part of the carbon calculation. And it is, kind of, but that's not really what makes beer carbon intensive. It's actually the malting process. Malting is when you apply heat to the grain, and then it releases this protein, and then this protein breaks these complex carbohydrates down to sugar. You need the malting process, so you need to expend that much energy. But what they did, they were very clever, is instead of malting all of the grain, they only malted a part of the grain. And in that way, the protein in one batch was able to cover the rest. So, what does this have to do with the color? Part of the malting process is also roasting it. So, all of the colors that you get from stouts to golden, depends on how much you actually cook these grains. So, chocolate malts will be almost black, and then you'll have anywhere in between. So, this golden color means that they spent less energy actually heating it up. And so that is why they were able to make a carbon neutral beer. But they did not sacrifice on taste. Cheers.